Welcome back to the show. Now, towards an inclusive design of the renewable energy transition, the TIDRET Project is an initiative that is led by the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia under the European Union's Climate Change and Inclusive Use of Natural Resources project of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, and is also administered, that is, through the GIZ. Now, it is a reality that post-independence, a significant portion of the Namibian rural and peri-urban populations still do not have access to modern energy technologies and services. And the existing supply of electricity cannot, cover its demand, especially also in times, of a changing climate and increasing requirements for clean and sustainable energy solutions. Now, the project also recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Erongo Red and awarded 32 households with some solar systems, and the electrification drive further targeted individual households within the identified communities, of which 50%, just by the way, were women-headed households and also MSMEs. Now, joining us in studio this morning is Ms. Kgomotso Mokgatle, the TIDRET Project Coordinator or the support officer, as well as the consulting engineer for the project from Avion Consultancies, that is Mr. Edward Kauzuu. Lady, gentlemen, a very good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good, very good. Thank you
for having us.
Great stuff. I'm going to start with the lady, if you don't mind,
No
sir.
problem.
I think it's very fair. I know I gave an overview there of what, the TIDRET project is about. But coming from your side, can you further elaborate for us on what the project is about?
The objective of the project is to expand or to facilitate expanded access to renewable energy technologies, as well as electrify 300 households and 5 SMEs, of which 50% should be women-headed households. We decided that the best way to go about this is with solar energy, as we have a rich resource of solar in Namibia, and the cost effectiveness of the technologies itself.
Okay, so 300 households, that's quite a number, hey?
Yes.
Great stuff. Also considering, as we said, demand of the rising, demand is rising, and it will continue to rise along with the cost of living, and that's just the reality. Ms. Mokgatle, how does this project speak to its targeted audience, with if we spoke about the rural communities, how does this happen?
Well, apart from the obvious advantage of clean energy, we'll also be providing the beneficiaries with a social tariff. So this is a tariff that is lower than the normal tariff charged in certain areas. And in other areas, taking into consideration the economic stance of the beneficiaries, we'll be charging them no tariff at all, so this will feature as a grant.
Great stuff. Also, one of the Sustainable Development Goals, I think specifically referring to SDG 7, speaks on clear access, on access to affordable, reliable, modern energy for all. I want to know also, again, if this project ensures that this happens.
Yes, most definitely. Access to sustainable and affordable energy is only possible if there's sufficient energy available, but projects like these allow for that to happen.
Great. Now, as a consulting engineer, Mr. Kauzuu, we want to know about the installation process, the type of equipment. Let's talk lifespan of the systems. How often would it need replacing? Because we're talking batteries and all that kind of stuff. So please give us all the details surrounding that.
Okay, let's start with the installation process. Thank you for the question, Nico. So basically, when it comes to the installation process, we categorize it in a few steps. We start by a site assessment, and this is where we assess the site where we will put up the solar solution. After that, we then start installing the physical system. There's the solar panels on the roof, followed by the inverter and the batteries within the confines of the house. We then continue further by actually coming to the site. This is now the engineers and the design team. And then what I physically do in that time is I look at whether the solar installation has been installed in such a way that, number one, it is installed according to specification and design, and number two, that it complies with the policies as well as the standards of Namibia.
There's one thing, we love technology, but sometimes, we're also very scared of technology. So what I wanted to know was, is this a user-friendly system, would you say?
Actually, Nico, it's actually very user-friendly. We love the fact that we are working with renewable energy and that we are moving away from the mindset of thinking that renewable energy is not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's very sustainable, it's very user-friendly. The inverters that we are using are top-tier inverters. They have LEDs that will indicate, as well as the batteries that we are using, they actually indicate the live parameters of your system. So you know at any time what the system is doing.
Great,
Yeah.
fantastic. Madam, getting back to you, one thing's for sure, no man is an island, right? And it is clear that you guys had some partners that you teamed up with. So who are your stakeholders during this project or going forward?
So the Environmental Investment Fund will partner with Senored, NORED and Erongo Red to provide concessionally funded installations to the communities in selected areas. These areas would be the Otjozondjupa region, Kunene region and Erongo region.
Okay, great stuff. Any other, like your donor partners?
We are funded by the EU and administered by GIZ.
Great stuff.
Yes.
Let's talk about that MoU that was signed with the Erongo Red not too long ago, about
Yes.
a few weeks ago. Tell us the importance of such an agreement, number one, and at the same time, or in the same breath, maybe you can tell us like who assumes ownership
Of the project.
Yes.
Yes, sure. That's a very relevant question. The MOU's importance is to ensure sustainability, to make sure that 10 or 20 years down the line, people still have electricity available. So Erongo Red will be maintaining these systems, making replacement on these systems, making sure that these systems are working over time to ensure that people will continue to have electricity. And in that breath, Erongo Red will be the assume actual ownership of the project and will receive this as a grant.
Fantastic. Now, for the both of you, actually, now having said that, so after being done, or in the Erongo region, you moved over to the Kunene region, you moved over to the Otjozondjupa region. So you're taking this is what you're taking to the people. How did the people respond to this technology?
KG.
Yes, the people are overjoyed. They're just happy to have electricity. I mean, we targeted marginalized communities, and they've been fighting for this basic need for an extended period of time. So they're happy for the ability to charge their phones, to switch on their lights, to be able to cook. So it's been really impactful, and happy to see that everyone is overjoyed.
Children having to do schoolwork no longer with candles, or
yes, definitely.
so
they can actually study at night.
yeah.
It increases or it uplifts the standard of living for the people.
For sure.
Completely.
It's a beautiful thing.
For sure. I also want to touch on, real quick, before I'm scared, that we might run out of time, in terms of the beneficiaries, and I'm sure a lot of Namibians are asking this question right now, how were the beneficiaries selected? And at the same time, will there be another drive where other people are looking to benefit?
For the beneficiaries, Nicole, how we started identifying these people is first by engaging the relevant stakeholders. Relevant stakeholders were like the Reds, the Traditional Council, as well as Ministry of Urban and Rural Development. Because they are heading this, they were able to pinpoint basically where we can go and the communities that we can target for the identified beneficiaries. And we went out, we then did investigations and observations, and then we came up with a final list. In terms of a second rollout of this project, it is going to be phased. It's going to be extended within the coming months. So we are very privileged and very fortunate to say that it does not end here. There will be a phase 2. So everyone must just wait and give us some time.
Okay, that does sound like something we actually want to hear this morning.
Yes,
Let's talk about the fact that you said that you were tasked to conduct a feasibility study. What else did you find? What else came out considering your study?
Yes, I myself and my team from Evion were tasked with carrying out a feasibility. We started by basically going out and doing investigations. We interviewed the people, we interviewed the stakeholders, and we also interviewed the traditional councils to get a holistic view of what the people need in terms of energy needs. This was followed by a load estimation, where we carried out load estimations and load analysis of what is typically found in their homes with the appliances, and we designed accordingly with solar radiation in mind.
Fantastic stuff. So we are about to wrap up. Final words from your side, Ms. Mokgatle, and then also from you, Mr. Kauzuu.
Just to add to the fact that the beneficiaries have to wait for us to roll out a second phase, we actually are in the process of setting up a clean energy fund under the EIF, where 30% of the revenue generated will be used to roll out more programs like these, and also be used to leverage more funding for multilateral funding partners in order to roll out different phases and provide more people with electricity around the country.
Okay, fantastic. Your side, sir?
Technically speaking, I love that we are transitioning, and we should actually transition to be able to mitigate or reduce our carbon emissions. And yeah, I love it.
Pretty much that. Okay, well, I thank you so much for your time here today. Keep doing the things you're doing.
Thank you for having us.
Great stuff. There you have it. We're talking energy here this morning on GMN. Thank you so much for staying in studio with us. The TIDRET Project Support Officer, as well as Evian Engineering Consultant here, talking to us that is about the project, what the objective of the project, and everything that they're doing, including like their amazing electrification processes and the other great stuff that will come from the project. Please do stay with us. We continue with some more after the short break.